If everybody in America rode mass transit instead of owning and driving a car, how much money do you think we'd save every year? Now, we're not going to do it, but let's take a guess, and it's pretty complex. Let's take a look at the cost of car ownership, the cost of public transportation, the distance and the frequency of travel, and the availability and accessibility of transit options, right? So the average household spends about 16 cents out of every dollar on transportation, 16%, and 93% of this goes to buying, maintaining, and operating a car. Now, a household can save about 10 grand a year by taking public transportation and living with one less car. Now, other folks think that transit is perceived to be expensive because all those costs are upfront and plain when you buy a ticket, but the costs of car ownership are hidden and spread out over a lot of time. But transit is expensive if you already own a car and you live in a suburban area where parking is free or subsidized. Now, other sources take a look at the cost of diesel and electric buses for mass transit, and they find that electric buses are more cost-effective in the long run because they've got lower fuel and maintenance costs. And you can also look at mass transportation systems because they operate on guided railways, sort of separated from traffic like subways. They're more expensive to build, but they're faster, safer, and more reliable than other ways of getting around. So if you think about all this stuff, how can we compare and get a cost? If everybody in America rode mass transit instead of a car, you're going to save money on fuel, money, maintenance, insurance, parking, other car-related expenditures. But you also have to pay for transit fares, and that's going to vary based on the type and the distance of travel. You have to compare and think about the accessibility and the availability of transit options in your town, as well as time and convenience factors. So it's hard, and we're going to oversimplify things to kind of get an idea. So if you want to approach this question, think about using the average annual cost of car ownership in America, maybe $8,700. Subtract the average annual cost of public transportation, that's about $3,700 for a single person. In New York, it's like $200 a year for City Bike, $1,200 for the subway. So if you subtract that, you get a rough estimate of about $4,900 per person per year saved. And you multiply this by the number of licensed drivers in America, there's about 227 million. You get a figure of $1.13 trillion every year that you would save. $1.13 trillion would be saved if everybody in America rode mass transit instead of driving a car. We'd probably spend it at the McDonald's or getting some clothes or buying other stuff. The money would still be in the economy. You'd either save it or invest it or go out and buy something else.